Alright, we're back. Finally got some constructive criticism I can use to help improve these videos. Don't get nearly enough of that. And today, going with a Primaris Space Marine Captain in Gravis Armour from the Dark Imperium box set. Excuse me. Going for an Ultramarines color scheme. And find the color I need. Starting with a 09062 leather white on the cape. Boy, I just moved these brushes. Now I can't find the one I need. There it is. Again, a cape like this is good reason to do a partial assembly first, but that wasn't an option with this model. What's unusual about the Dark Imperium set compared to most other GW kits are that they're only designed to be assembled one way and don't have any optional parts. Though it is a starter set, so that's probably a big part of the reason why. And it looks like I was corrected in earlier... Oh, I just got the leg. Looks like I was corrected in an earlier suspicion that these sculpts would be exclusive to this particular box set, as the intercessors and inceptors that are about to be released or have been released, I'm not certain exactly when they came out or when they're supposed to be coming out, look more along the lines of a typical GW kit. Okay. And the primer I use is Army Painter. So, the brand of paint I use is Reaper Master Series. I mentioned this a few times in previous videos, but the reason I use it is I used to use Games Workshop, but then a few years ago they decided to reformulate and rename a bunch of paints, pretty much everything in their catalog, and left about a 6-month gap between the time they announced the old stuff was discontinued and the new stuff would be released. So a lot of people either panicked and bought up everything they could of the older formulas, or, like me, switched brands. Nothing wrong with really any of the model hobby paint brands, as far as I'm aware, but not the best business decision to leave a gap of that long between discontinuation of one critical product and the availability of its replacement. And there's always some annoyances with using a light color like white on black primer. Okay. Go ahead and do the, what's the word? The handle of the sword, the grip. It's still really early in the morning. And can't think that straight right this minute. Okay. Yeah. I can't see. Could probably go ahead and do the gray as well. Where did I put it? There it is. 09088 Stormy Gray. And this is going to go on a few functional components, like the feeder tube connecting the magazine on his backpack to his bolter. I'd normally wait for this white to be dry before moving on to this, but I really want to get this done. Still got a lot of models in my painting queue that I'm trying to burn through before the Kickstarter rewards for the Relic Knight 2nd Edition start coming in. Don't know how long that's going to be, but the frequency of emails from Soda Pop Miniatures regarding it seem to indicate it's not going to be too much longer. Maybe another month or two. Okay, gonna get this hose connecting the upper leg and lower leg. And then put this on the black carapace, which in the lore is basically a literal second skin that turns the Space Marine's power armor into a third skin. Just gonna get that in the joints. This one's a little trickier because there is a wire connecting the pauldron to the gauntlet. Not a little bit over there. Not too much of this color though, as the Captain's much more solidly armored than even the Inceptors I painted previously. Okay. And we'll put some of this on the bolter itself. And I'm not exactly mimicking the color schemes in the book for Ultramarines and going more for the spirit of it, getting the main colors of it. And And call that good for now. Let this dry and move on a bit. Alright. 09188 Ultramarine Blue. May have to restock this one too soon. I just nicked the cape a bit. I'll have to fix that. And the pipe. Maybe I should have started with the blue. Alright, we'll just touch up the gray and blue later, or the gray and white later, that's fine. It happens. I'll be picking out some of those helmet details later on, but for now I just need a solid coat on it. Man, I completely missed under the arm here when I did the gray, so it's another reason to touch up. Well, that is not thin enough. Okay, it's pretty good. Go ahead and let that dry and then touch up some of the mistakes and move on to some of the other colors. Okay, I went ahead and did the touch-ups off camera so as not to bore you. Looks like I missed one little bit right there, but go ahead and move on to some gold. Let's see, 09050 antique gold. That is not mixed up thoroughly enough. See how watery that is. Yeah, comparing the two, the second blob is much better. I'm gonna get this on. So he's got a couple of sacred reliquaries hanging off of his belt, or rather a chain strapped around his waist. It's not really a belt. Looks like this one has bones in it. That'll be another color. Just get that in gold. Which, according to the If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, is the best color in the universe. Though me personally, this Ultramarine blue is my favorite, which was one of the big reasons for me picking Ultramarines for my color scheme. Gotta be careful about getting the iconography and not the blue. And I mentioned this a few months ago in the Inceptors video, but the other reasons for me deciding to go for an Ultramarines color scheme were a straight-to-DVD movie, Ultramarines, a long play I saw of a current generation Space Marine game. Look, I missed a bit on the blue there. We'll just take a second and... Oh, shoot, the paint is dry. Well, I guess we won't. We'll touch it up later. And the third big reason why I went with Ultramarines was actually if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device. Because I find the interactions between Marnius Calgar and Cato Sicarius to be absolutely hilarious. And as much as I can't wait for the producers of that series to get another episode out, I know full well how long it can take to get an episode scripted, written, or filmed, and edited. Getting that trim. go ahead and do the same to the left shoulder. Then, of course, the iron halo. Too much water there, we'll blot that out. Remix and try again. It's better. Making sure there is a nice even coat. Can't help but feel there's some gold I missed somewhere on the body. Oh yeah, that's it. And this iconography on the cape. That's what I missed. Hit it on the other side. And it's present on the back as well. Okay, and then go ahead and gonna do the pommel and hilt of his power sword, his master-crafted power sword, and the gold as well. Though that little skull and all the other ones I will pick out in a different color a little later on once this has had a chance to dry. Then taking old bronze 09197. That's gonna go on the chain securing his reliquaries to him. And it's gonna be the main, well, that's not thinned out well enough, main color on this second relic he's carrying. And yeah, that is a difficult angle to work with. I've done worse though, but this would again be a case for partial assembly, but it didn't seem like it was all that possible on this particular sculpt. Not without ending up with a bunch of pieces that could be easily lost. Let's see, is there any more bronze I want on him? Not particularly, no. So we'll take, where is it? 09143 yellowed bone. Because the first reliquary painted actually has some bones in it. Then we'll take this and use it on the parchment for the purity seals as well. And the captain here has 3 or 4 of them. One hanging off his arm. And I nicked the elbow there. I'll come out in the wash, and I'll worry about that. And by wash, I mean the shading wash I'll do in a little bit. Could have sworn this guy had a 4th purity seal on him, but I must be mistaken. It's alright. (09002) deep red. There's another color that's almost shut, but I know I've got enough because I just need a little dot like that. Should be just about right. And that'll be the wax portion of the seal. And there's a cord binding the bones together in his other reliquary. We'll go ahead and do that in the red too. Just completely last second arbitrary decision. And that leaves the steel. It's around here somewhere. There it is, 09206 tarnished steel. Start by picking out some skulls. The leg, chest, the iron halo, or left arm. Go ahead and use that on the barrel of the storm bolter. Or, no, that's the bolt storm gauntlet, sorry. Storm bolters what the Incetrons have. A lot of bolters in this faction. Also use this on this part here. Then dab the skull on the ammo bin, or what I can only assume is the ammo bin based on the feeder. And that skull, and that skull. And if there aren't enough skulls in this line of miniatures for your taste, it looks like Games Workshop just released an entire box of skulls. Okay, and of course the actual blade itself. Just making sure I've got it all before I say good enough. Okay, the gray here is still good, so I can just touch that up. And that. And taking just a tiny bit of the ultramarine blue again. That should be more than enough. Go ahead and touch up the part of the gauntlet I missed earlier. A few other places. Okay. Let's see here. That is just about right. Okay, that's pretty good. On the foot there. We'll go ahead and let that dry completely. One little nick right there and there. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and let that dry completely before moving on to shading. Alright. Starting on the shading with Blackened Steel 09205. How'd that happen? Huh. Oh, hat. A little bit more than that. Just kind of debating a few details. Let's go ahead and get all these skulls GW seems to love so much. Just kind of dabbing it on. Again, going high to low. And getting the ejection mechanism. I could have sworn I read somewhere that boulder shells were supposed to be caseless, but could be I was reading about something else. Just getting that hole cleared. Okay. Go ahead and do the blade for now, but I may reshade another color as well. Got some plans. For all, this is a power sword, not a ordinary bite sears sword. Though I think I just made a really weird reference. Okay. And then red brick 09001. That should be plenty, because there's very little that was done in this color in the first place. Just the purity seals. Just gonna get a dot in around them. And that binding on these two bones in that reliquary. And gonna have to let that dry completely now before moving on to the next color. Alright, 09049 Ancient Bronze. That is probably going to be a lot more than I need. And my brush goes flying. Okay, that's just going to leave the detail on the cape. Okay, suppose I can go ahead and do the... no, I can't. Never mind. Okay. I can do the bronze at least. 09196 aged Pewter. It's going to be more than enough right there, since it's just a little bit on the belt and that one relic. Okay, I'll go ahead and let that dry and move on. Okay. Next up is... I want to do this next. Yeah, Ultramarine Shadow 09187. I almost second guessed myself on what I was going to do. everything. Sorry, but I just don't feel very talkative right this minute. Okay, that's got the blue. Let that dry and then hit the gray and the white in no particular order. Okay, 09061 linen white. Okay. It dawns on me another potential problem with these videos may just be my camera itself, which I've got a camera I can afford, and that's about it. So upgrading to something a little better is something that's going to have to be on my itinerary in the future. Don't know when that would be. Not a whole lot of this. think I've got enough. Okay. And then stained ivory 09142. Don't need much of that. Just dab that on the bones in that reliquary. Parchment. Purity seals. Okay, once that's dry, I can move on to the gray. I see this gold got a little bit of the white on it. We'll just dab that off real quick. The rest will come out when I do the highlights. And then, oh, you know what, I'll go ahead and do some stuff with the blade right now, actually. And take 09100 pearl white. This is a metallic white, so it's got a bit of a sparkle to it. And to give it a glowing effect, we're going to go along this wire here. And these two wires on this side. Kind of take that up the blade. On the other side too. And the official painted models in the mini codex that came with the box set show the lightning bolts coming off of these wires, these nodes, but to make the sword look like it's glowing, as it's just barely containing the massive power inside it. And that's pretty good. Maybe just a little bit more on this wire here. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and let that all dry. Okay. 09037 pure black. That's probably more than I need. This is going to be the shader for the black carapace and certain other pieces. Get this thinned out properly. Looks like I missed a significant part. Nope. Never mind. Just have to be really careful so I don't touch the white. On the side there, under the armpit, and in the elbow, and that elbow. Okay, that just leaves the ammo belt. Okay, being careful not to nick any of the white with this. remainder of the bolter on the gauntlet. Go ahead and get this inside here. Still blank on the technical name of that part of a firearm. Exact anatomy of a gun is not exactly my forte, but okay, it's all the gray. Since some of that white got a little wild on the leg here, we'll just take some of that ultramarine shadow again and just do a little quick touch up, which won't interfere with the last bit of shading I'm going to do here. Getting on the foot there. Okay. And the last layer of shading is going to be sparkling blue 09104. This is another metallic color. Don't need a touch. Oh, that is way more than I need. Went out a little wildly. Thin this out really good. Almost twice as thin as usual for a shade. This is going to go on the blade. Even that's almost too. It's almost too thick. Really thin, but mostly over the white. There we go. So now we've got that thin line of white in the middle and that blue on the side. That looks like it's strung with power. Will look even better once we get the highlight on there. And then, speaking of, go ahead and get ready for the detail phase with the eyes and get a little pure white out, 09039. Just carefully fill in his eyes. Okay. And that blue got onto the hilt a bit. Go ahead and dab that off with a paper towel. I've tried a regular towel, it does not work as well for this, so. Okay. Trying to make that dry a little quicker. Let's take a quick look at the reference material. Okay. So we're gonna take, oh yeah, why not go 09101 ruby red. Again, another metallic. Looks clogged. We'll need the tiniest dot, and that's more than we'll need. Again, thinning it out really thoroughly. So carefully, almost like a wash, dot that in the eyes. It's a bit too thin because we want bright, vibrant angry red. That's much better. That is good. Alright, we'll let that dry completely, and then move on to highlights and the last little detail. Alright, moving on to highlights. I'm going to start with Ultramarine Highlight 09189. There it is. That gets that done, but there's still a few patches of white I missed. I'll just touch up here. Okay, that's got that. And then 09144 Creamy Ivory. Okay, for a minute there I thought I stopped recording. Testing? Okay, for a minute there I thought I stopped recording. Which happened before. So we're on Creamy Ivory 09144. Don't need much of that. Okay, get that on the bones in this reliquary here. On the parchment, on the purity seals. That's enough of that one. And then 09003 Blood Red. This is another one that's just about empty. But that should be all we need, that little tiny dot. Just on the bindings on those bones there. On the wax part of the purity seals. Hell, assuming it is wax. I have my doubts, honestly. Okay. And then go ahead and do the white 09063 Ghost White. Again, going generally low area to high area on the highlights. Where's that nice big? I was just using a minute ago. And I've misplaced it. Great. Okay. This one will work too. Not worried about the interior surface so much. And then just like the blue, we'll just touch up right there and in there. Going in here in any place else where blue or other colors hit the white where we don't want it. Okay. Go ahead and do the bronze real quick. 09198 Tarnished Brass. Don't need much of that. It's just on a very small area. Just on this chain being used as a belt and that reliquary. Then I just realized I missed a piece of white. Still time to fix it. got it. Oops. Go ahead and do the gray now. Gonna use 09038 Rainy Gray for that one. Back of the knee there. This is still very wet. And then the elbow, armpit. Get that little bit of black carapace there that you can clearly see. Not a whole lot of this. And then the bolter. Getting the ammo belt. Again, just dry brushing. Get most of the paint out of it because we mostly just want to get the edges picked out. Just like that. Yeah, that got it adequately. Now 09051 new gold. You can really see how well it's working on these wonderfully sculpted wing ornamentations. because we nicked that white there up, and that paint's dry. So a little more of that ghost white to touch up that little nick there. That tiny dot might actually be enough, because it is. And then a touch up here where we got a little overexcited on the blue. Okay. Oh, lost track. There it is. 09207 True Silver. That might be enough. There's not a whole lot of this on here. There's a tiny brush to start with. Get the skulls. And then highlight that barrel on the bolter. And that part of the mechanism. And I'm going to use a larger brush to get the blade of the power sword. Okay. Now it's not quite the effect I wanted on the power sword, but it's not bad. Sometimes things don't go exactly as you plan. And then it was some. Oh yeah, now I remember. Alright, so 09039 pure white. So last Space Marine video I did with the Inceptors, the water slide decals, if you saw it, fell off. I've never had that much trouble with those before. So getting very frustrated, I decided to just do the iconography by hand painting it. And that's what I'm going to do on this. That should be more than enough. Just need to find the right brush. And using that pure white, I'm going to carefully and methodically paint in the Ultramarine faction symbol. And it takes a lot of practice, and this is only the 4th time I've painted this. So, not perfect, but not bad. It's one of those things I'll just have to keep practicing at. Though I can take Ultramarine highlight. Backfill a bit along here to make it look a little better, but yeah. Then we'll finish up with 09037 Pure Black. Just a couple things we need to do with this. Go ahead and fill in this eject mechanism. And fill in the barrel here on the bolter. Excuse me. That's it for that. Then we'll go ahead and touch up the base, getting all these nicks from the previous, from all the colors put on there earlier. Then we'll let that dry completely and move on to the basing. Alright, starting on the basing using Elmer's glue all. Plenty of water. Where's the brush I'm looking for? There it is. Yeah, this one's about shut. So carefully brush that on around the feet. I'm going to do a two-tone, not so much tone as compound basing again. Dip that in flock. And we're going to let that set for a bit before I do the second component. Okay, last layer of basing, some talus or rock debris. Filling in the rest of the base with the glue solution. And a quick dip, and that's it. Just need to let that dry for a while and then seal it. Okay, one detail I missed. So 09037 pure black, just a tiny bit of it. That should be sufficient. That is to put writing on the purity seals parchments. That can be just done with a series of lines and dots. That's got it. And then to seal the base with scenic cement, it's a woodland scenics thing. Eyedropper. Get that filled up. And this material really absorbs this, practically drinks it in. You gotta be careful, because if you put too much in one place, even after it's partially dried, this will move your bracing material around and cause a gap. Clear that out thoroughly. And that is it. Primaris Space Marine Captain in Gravis Armour from the Warhammer 40,000 Dark Imperium box set. And got two more Warhammer videos I'm going to do in the near future. And move on to something else for a little bit. So, until next time.